Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So this is another story that fits perfectly in, what the content of this YouTube channel and the blog is all about. I've frequently had to talk about this in the past, experiences of Black children in Brazil's school system. So this is a story that a lot of people have been talking about in Instagram profiles, Brazilian of Brazilians who just have their own content that they put up on Instagram. So after I saw about 7 different people had talked about this, I say, okay, I definitely need to talk about this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is what happens in Brazil every day. Okay. So today's story, 12-year-old Black girl trampled on and called monkey with scouring pad hair by students at school, says the young girl's mother. So before I get into this video, just want to make sure that you all subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, click on the notification bell. And with that said, let me get into, the background of the story for today. So this is a young lady, 12-year-old Black girl. This is what happened to her in school. And again, I have a lot of stories on the blackbraziltoday.com blog. If you go over there and just check it out, racism in Brazilian schools have been something that's been, Black activists have been talking about this for at least a few decades now. I mean, there was one particular book, if you remember, it was Eliane Caballero, and she talked about not only the racism that Black kids in Brazil experience from other students, but as well as how they're treated by the teachers in these schools, the teachers who either ignore the experiences that these kids have of being humiliated, or you see in how the teachers give a lot more affection to the white students while they just kind of deal with the Black students. So that was a groundbreaking book because it exposed that this is something that Black kids in Brazil go through all the time. This is nothing new. The reflection of racism in Brazil's school system is just a reflection. It's just a small piece of racism in Brazil society as a whole. Oftentimes, for Black kids, racism, the first time they experience racism is going to be somewhere at school, because you grow up in your home and you're surrounded by people who are supposed to love you, and then they release you in the public. And the problem with that is oftentimes, this is changing now, but for years, Black Brazilian families did not prepare their kids to send them to school to be prepared for some of the stuff that kids might say to them. So then it's always a situation where the kids come home humiliated, crying, frustrated, mad, sad, not wanting to go back to school anymore because it's something another kid said. Okay. It's another weapon that attacks the self-esteem of Black Brazilians. So let's get into what are the details of this story? So a police report was filed on March 11th due to race or color prejudice in Novo Horizonte, located in the state of Sao Paulo. The mother told the police that elementary school students had thrown dirt and cat feces on her 12-year-old daughter's uniform. A 43-year-old woman has reported to the police that her daughter was attacked and called racist names inside a municipal school in Novo Horizonte, in interior of Sao Paulo state. A police report was filed on March 11th for race or color prejudice. According to the girl's mother, 5 elementary school pupils had thrown dirt and cat feces on her 12-year-old daughter's uniform, as well as calling her macaca, again, macaca, which means monkey, calling her cabelo de bombril, and astronaut helmet. Now, bombril is something that comes up occasionally because it's part of the Brazilian culture to define Black people who have what they call cabelo crespo, kinky curly hair, and call their hair bombril. Bombril is a brand of a stainless steel scouring pad that people use to wash their dishes in Brazil. Okay. This has been going on for decades. The girl, who is Black and has braided hair, was also allegedly thrown to the ground and trampled on by the students, according to her mother. She cried a lot. I don't want any child to ever feel what mine felt. Never again will a mother cry like I did when I saw my daughter in the situation I saw her in. I want justice, the mother lamented. At the police station, the woman requested a protective order for her daughter, which was granted by the courts. The victim also underwent a forensic examination. Can you imagine a kid having to go through this, 12 years old? Not only was she assaulted, but obviously there was some some validity to what happened because this ended up in the court. She had to go through a forensic examination. This is, again, this is absurdity. Let me see. According to the family's lawyer, Kelly Ranolfi, although the girl continues to attend school, the 5 students are prohibited from approaching her and must stay 100 meters away from her. These 100 meters inside the school are sometimes not possible because they are in the same environment, but they need to be supervised by the unit so that it doesn't happen again. Now, outside the school, if they don't comply, the aggressors are sent to the Fundação Casa, explained the lawyer. The role of the Fundação Casa is to carry out the social educational measures applied by the judiciary to adolescents who have committed offenses under the age of 18. Kelly said that in similar cases where the victim is being threatened or physically, psychologically, or verbally, it is appropriate to ask for a protective measure when registering the police report. There's no way she could be in a place where the aggressors could get close and she could suffer again. It's an imminent danger and there's a risk that they'll attack her again, said the lawyer. At the police station, the girl gave a statement and confirmed that this is not the first time she's been verbally attacked by students because of the color of her skin. I feel sad. My color and my hair, it hurts a lot. They called me names, humiliated me, called me macaca, the girl said. Again, macaca meaning monkey. I've always said it's Brazil's favorite slander, favorite insult for people of African ancestry. In a statement, the Hebe de Almeida Leite Cardoso School denied that it was a case of racism and said it was investigating the incident with documents and witnesses. The city's civil police are investigating the case. So again, we have another situation where a Brazilian entity is flat out denying that this is a racist incident. Really? This is how Brazil has gone so long under the radar of being a racist country, because they have flat out denied when they see incidences like this. How do they deny that it's being racist? Because it is not white people who are called macacas or monkeys in Brazil, and it is not white people who are said to have scouring pad hair. I mean, there's a long history of this. Just to talk about racism in school is just a regular thing. The veiled racism in schools. We need to talk about our Black children. Article at blackbrazil.com from 2016. 2022, Black children are dressed as slaves in the Independence Day civic parade in Paraná State in southern Brazil. Racism in the life of a Black child begins in daycare, right? All of these stories just talk about the experiences of Black kids going to school. Look at this. You won't be able to study in this school anymore because it does not match your color. Your family is Black and you have to live apart from us. 10-year-old Black girl told after Brazilian Trump that former President Jair Bolsonaro is elected, she will need to find a new school. I'm going to kill you, you stinking monkey. A 12-year-old Black girl bullied, threatened, and humiliated by another child. So I'm saying this is something that's just regular in Brazil. The worst moment of school was when they talked about slavery. I felt humiliated. This is something that happens in Brazilian society somewhere in Brazil every single day. There's no way to deny this. Again, the history of associating Black Afro textured hair with bombril. There's another brand of scouring pad in Brazil called Crespinha. And they associate this product with the hair of Black people. So I want to understand how this school does not see this as being a racist attack when it's always associated with people of African ancestry. These are just a few more articles. Who will defend our children against whiteness? How racist school experiences interfere with the positive self-images of Black children. This is what's going on in Brazil. So I would just like to know how this school goes about trying to report. There's no racism in this case. It's a typical response. But nowadays on social networks, so many Black Brazilians are calling this out. There's no way that this can be denied. It used to just go under the rug for years, but now with so many people talking about racism, Black Brazilians are pushing back. So one of my favorite IG channels is by a guy named Sergio. He calls his channel Sergio Resistencia, but Sergio Resistance, if you translate that. So this is the video that he made out of many. Like I said, I've seen at least 6 or 7 people, different people post on this particular incident. So this is what Sergio had to say after reporting on the story. This is his comment.
Então a gente vê nesse caso que uma pessoa negra acaba sendo violentada nessa situação onde as crianças acabam reproduzindo o racismo.
So we see in this case that a Black person ends up being violated in this situation where children end up reproducing the racism they have at home. In fact, folks, We
senão
need
vai
anti-racist
acontecer
education
isso, a
within our homes.
reprodução da
Otherwise, this will
educação que
happen.
eles
The
têm. Uma
reproduction of the
outra
education
questão
they
é a
have.
Lei 10.639, da história e cultura afro-brasileira dentro das nossas escolas, que é uma
Another issue is
obrigatoriedade,
Law
porém as escolas acabam
10.639
não
on
cumprindo
Afro-Brazilian
com
history and
essa
culture within
lei.
our schools,
Assim, nós
which is
precisamos
mandatory, but
fazer com que
schools end up
seja
not
cumprida
complying
essa
with this
lei
law.
para que nós
Therefore, we
possamos
need to
mudar essa
reinforce this law
situação.
so that we
Hoje em
can change
dia,
this
existe uma
situation.
educação
Nowadays, there
eurocêntrica
is a
que coloca
Eurocentric education that
personagens
places white
brancos como
personalities as superior
personagens
personalities within
superiores
our
dentro da
history.
nossa história. Assim, a gente acaba formando crianças brancas, egocêntricas, jovens egocêntricos, que serão
Thus,
adultos
we end up forming
egocêntricos no
white,
futuro e
self-centered children, self-centered
reproduzirão
young
o
people
racismo
who
dentro da
will
nossa
be
sociedade.
self-centered adults in the future
Precisamos
and will
agir
reproduce racism within our
urgentemente para
society.
mudar essa
We need to
situação. E
act
quem pode
urgently to
mudar
change this
isso
situation.
somos
And the only
apenas
ones who
nós.
can change
Nós
this is
podemos fazer
us.
alguma
We can
coisa
do
para
something
que
to
isso
change
venha a
this.
ser mudado.
Resistance always,
Resistência sempre,
everyone.
pessoal.
So Sergio, he's always on it. You know, he always produces a video when he sees an incident that needs to be addressed. His channel talks a little bit about Black history, you know, everyday events, you know, Black culture in Brazil. I like his channel. Now, what he mentioned here was Law 10.639. And that's a law that's been in effect for at least, I want to say, maybe 21 years now. It's a law that obligates Brazilian schools to teach African and Afro-Brazilian history and culture within the schools. They think this is a way to address the way Brazilian society makes Black people feel inferior. Like, we need to introduce the history of Africans and Afro-Brazilians in the school, in the classroom, so that these type of things don't happen and people come to understand, look, Africans, Black people in the diaspora have a long history that started long before slavery. But as it turns out, and they've been saying this for years, they've implemented this history. They've passed a law for the history, but schools are still pushing back. They're not complying with this law. So a lot of schools still don't teach this history in the schools. Some of the classes, some of the teachers are ill-equipped. They don't have the material to teach this class. Other teachers are just ignoring it. But this is something that needs to be done because, you know, the experiences of Black children in the Brazilian school system is like this all the time. You know, again, I constantly say this. If I wanted to just create a blog or a channel just on racism in Brazilian schools, I could do that because there's plenty enough material. So this is another clear example of how racism diminishes the experiences of Black children in the Brazilian school system. So anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. Just want to remind you to like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell. Definitely leave a comment in the comment section. I want to hear from you. What do you think about this situation? You can't define this as just, oh, this is an isolated incident, because again, if you have access to the internet and you know how to look for these stories in Portuguese, you'll find the internet is littered with this type of stuff about Black children in Brazilian schools. So with that said, I'm going to end this video here and request that you all come back, check out the next video that I post.